Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, let me introduce myself and my friend. I'm Nasywa and my friend is Puspita, Srilaila and Syifa. We are from 11 Science 8. In this presentation, we will discuss about flood.
Floods are one of the natural phenomena that affect human life and can cause damage. In a simple sense, a flood is a large amount of water overflowing and inundating an area. The overflow of the water entered the residential area inhabited by humans because the river was no longer able to accommodate it. An area is called a flood if large amount of water cover most of a large area. Meanwhile, hydrologically, there are no two definitions of flood. There is any flow of water that damages property, livestock and crops, and any water surface condition that exceed normal limits. The type of flood include river flood. A river flood occurs when water level rises over the top of river banks. This flooding can happen in a river and stream channel. Coastal flood. A coastal flood is the inundation of normally dry land areas along the coast with seawater. Flash flood. Flash floods are extremely powerful. They have enough force to roll boulders, tear trees from the ground, destroy buildings and bridges, and scour out new channels. Storm surge. Storm surge is an abnormal rise in water level coastal areas over and above the regular astronomical time. Inland flooding. An inland flood is a flooding that occurs inland or not in a coastal area. River coastal flooding and storm surge are not inland floods.
Flood causes and effects. Different flood types typically have different causes. Most floods are caused by one of the following activities. 1. Channels with steep banks are also to blame for flooding. Flooding often occurs when there is fast runoff into lakes, rivers, and other basins. This is often the case with rivers and other channels that feature steep sides. 3. Storm surge and tsunami also cause flooding. Storm surge from hurricanes and other tropical systems can cause sea levels to rise and cover normally dry coastal areas in several feet of water. 4. Broken dams are another cause of flooding. Older infrastructure can fail when heavy rains come and water level rise. When dams break, they unleash torrents of water on unsuspecting households. 5. Overflowing rivers are another cause of floods. You don't necessarily need heavy rainfall to experience river flooding.
Flood effects. No matter what causes of a flood, it can have devastating effects on your community. There are actually many dangerous flooding effects. Besides physical danger, floods also cause economic and social problems. 1. Psychosocial flooding effects. Flooding can also create lasting trauma for victims. The loss of loved ones or homes can take a steep emotional toll, especially on children. Displacement from one's home and loss of livelihood can cause continuing stress and produce lasting psychological impacts. 2. Property damage. Flooding also causes property damage to buildings by blowing out windows, sweeping away doors, corroding walls and foundations, and sending debris into infrastructure and at fast pace. Not to mention the furniture and items inside a home or business that are damaged when flood waters make it inside. 3. Loss of lives. The gravest effect of flooding is death. In fact, flooding is the number one severe weather killer. Floods have claimed thousands of lives throughout history. Flood can also kill people by destroying buildings and creating unsafe environments. One often overlooked deadly effect of flooding comes from waterborne illnesses. 4. Economic impacts. The economic impact of flooding can be devastating to a community. This comes from damage and disruption to things like communication towers, power plants, roads, and bridges. This brings business activities in an area to a standstill. Oftentimes, mere flooding results in dislocation and dysfunction of normal life long after flood waters recede.
How to prevent flooding? How to prevent flooding? We can start from ourselves. Every effort we make, even if it's small, can have a positive impact on the environment. 1. Cleaning gutters. Regularly can prevent flooding. Check the gutters regularly and make sure there are no blockages in the gutters. Blockage can be one of the factors causing flooding because the water does not flow smoothly. 2. Avoid making buildings on the bank of the river. Currently, more and more are buildings on the banks of the river, even though it can cause flooding. The construction of houses or buildings on the banks of the river will narrow the river. In addition, household waste has the potential to enter the river. 3. Selective cutting and reforestation. After cutting down a tree, it is best to plant a new tree. Prioritize planting large rounded trees that can absorb water quickly. 4. Increase green open land. The city is far from the forest. Green open land is urban areas can replace forests and add catchment areas in urban areas to avoid flooding. This area can be planted with various trees that are good for absorbing water. Concluding, flood disasters occur due to the flow of large amount of water in short time, due to large rainfall or overflow from other areas. This rainwater, when not drained properly, will stagnate and flood residential areas. Floods can be caused by the loss of green areas when forests and trees are cut down or replaced with settlements. As a result, there is nothing to block the flow of water and there is no place for water to soak into the ground. The following is a visual text or image labeled about flooding. Thank you for your listening. May all those we have shared be beneficial for all of us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.